Hey, you guys, it is Thursday and we are here. Today's episode was wow! Let's talk about it. What's up, ladies and gents, darling? Sam, come on in the room. My YouTube family is out there making extra storm. Louisa, Stefan, y'all come on in the yard. Let's go.
Hey, good evening, everyone. How y'all doing?
Hey
Hello.
everybody, good evening.
Hi.
Yes, glad to be here.
Today has been controversial.
Yes.
Oh, I got so much. I didn't even have time to watch the show again to take notes. So I feel like I'm gonna be lagging on some things, but just make sure I get space. I got something to say about everybody today, from Taylor, from what we predicted with that going on. Miss
Hmm.
Hmm.
said, I'm not a motherfucking consolation prize. Your dad go kick rocks, honey. He wants it. He can
Amen.
go. We did not see Bill Spencer offering to give Steffi first refusal on his Aspen property, but good coming out on Can for catching that Bill Spencer would have something to do with Aspen and his property would come into play. We didn't guess that he'd be trying to sell it to somebody.
Well, that's what I always was saying, that it didn't make sense how Steffi and Taylor ended up at Bill's property. And it came out today is that Bill is selling it and he offered it to Steffi.
Right. And
And
then
can we just appreciate for a moment our sister's about to potentially have two pieces of property while some people don't even have one?
but keep
This is her third piece of property. If she buys this, this will be her third piece of property she's bought.
Now keep a pin in that because I also want to talk about Liam coming in and being
Mm.
I care about you too, Brooke. I screamed. I was driving down the road. He and I had to I was listening and driving, and when he said I care about you too, I almost ran off the road because I wanted to see what his face looked like when he said that. And then what else was the big thing that happened for me today? The phone call. You guys, I know it's a lot of debate, but my heart is breaking because I think it's gonna be Thomas. So let's mix it up. Where y'all want to start at?
The phone call, who called CPS?
Oh,
Yeah, we
my,
could start there.
I don't know if my
Yeah.
cake is ready to start. That's a big piece of.
I know it's the biggest. That's why I
What
Can we hit
exactly?
the little thing in the bud first and then get to the gigantic whopper in the room? Like, can we get the little stuff? Like, because it seems like we're gonna talk about that the longest.
hmm
Yeah, so we could start with the fact that Taylor is about tired of Ridge's shit because that made me very happy.
Hey, now when she told Steffi, "Girl, I love your daddy, but I did not come back to LA for this shit." I
Well,
Amen.
said
I
I
was
didn't
so proud of her. I was so proud of her for telling stuff for that.
Yes,
Taylor was the one person who I was 100% satisfied with today from start to finish.
from
yes, honey.
start to finish.
So I'm watching again
Straight
right now,
action.
y'all. So if y'all have a question, let me know because I was trying to watch it again before the yard started, but I'm into it now. So
Yes,
yeah.
I'll let you know.
Yeah, let me know. I'ma just go back on mute.
She
Hmm
was
Okay.
she was starting to have this epiphany, or this eye opening was coming into her own set of mind. Like when she was talking to Ridge after Steffi left and left them alone talking, you could see her like light bulbs going off. And
Yep.
then she had a long time to think about it and sit with it. And then she marinated. And then she go and she talked to Thomas and it's some more bullshit. And then she talk it out with Steffi. So it's just like, you know what? I did not come back to LA for this foolishness.
Y'all
Granted,
know what though? I believe this started the other day when Taylor told Steffi, and I tweeted about it. When Taylor told Steffi, when Steffi said, "Blah," Brooke is tearing up her own marriage, and Taylor told Steffi, "I don't think your father will ever see it like that, though." At that
Mm-hmm.
point, I knew then that Taylor was coming to the realization. Remember when I said that Taylor gave Brooke that heartfelt speech about why she loves Ridge?
Yep.
And Brooke retort was, um, "That's my destiny. we call each other destiny because nobody gonna come between us. Like, and remember I said that it sounded bizarre, but it's not bizarre when you put it from Brooke's perspective because it's been true. It's 100% accurate from her perspective. She was able to take him from his wife and his children, and even till this day, she is able to be a wedge between them. So Taylor, I believe I said Taylor needs to hear Brooke. Taylor heard Brooke. She heard her with that destiny speech. Taylor is seeing that no matter what, Brooke is always going to be around, just like she told Thomas.
Hell, she told Steffi today. She was like, I feel like I'm the other woman, and I am not the other woman. I deserve better than that. And not only do I deserve better than that, this is not my karma that needs to be served. This is Brooke. I am not a homewrecker.
Yeah.
So,
Right. I
like,
appreciated that.
I
I appreciated that. Because that's the thing. It has never been about what Brooke deserves, okay? Because Brooke don't deserve shit, okay? Brooke deserves less than nothing because karmically speaking, she's trashed more marriages than she's had for herself. For almost every marriage she has had for herself, it was almost always built on top of somebody else's broken marriage or their broken family or their broken relationship. So yes, while I understand that Brooke does deserve retribution in some shape, way, and form for the bullshit that she has done, Taylor Hamilton ain't that woman. Right. Brooke is fine being the other woman. She's fine being the interloper. She's fine being the person in between somebody else's marriage. But that's not who Taylor is as a character. And she said something that I so appreciated today. She said, I don't like how I feel, basically. I don't like how I feel being in this position. I don't feel good about me. Not because I don't love Ridge, but because I know that this is not who I am. And I felt that because that is not who Taylor is. That has never been who Taylor is. True love with Ridge or not. I'm sorry, I'm going to be blunt. Fuck Ridge. Because at no point should Taylor feel like she is not the person that she's always known herself to be for his sake because he's too much of an idiot to figure out that his marriage is trash. That's his damn problem, not hers. So I really did appreciate that like Taylor said, she's like common sense. Some common sense finally floated to the top, and I'm seeing things that have been bothering me, and she's able to actually verbalize what it is she has not liked about the situation for a minute. And she was right. She was totally right.
And I was so 100% behind her today. When she said all that, I was like, yes, girl, yes.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
She didn't got off the carousel the same way Steffi did when Steffi said, you know what? I sat and watched my mama do this shit with your mama and my daddy all my life. And I'm not fixing to repeat them same rusty ass habits. So I'm a bounce. Here's the ring. Y'all gonna have a great life.
We talked about that in the yard. We did.
She just said, you know what? He's happy with his wife. I'm gonna leave them alone. She wearing his ring. I'm not fixing to be the other woman. I'm gonna go out of town. I'm gonna drink some tequila. I'm gonna get my groove back. I'm gonna sing some sad songs, and then I'm gonna shake this shit off. And then I'm gonna come back and be me because y'all still need me. But I'm not gonna be the me that's hung up on your daddy because I'm fixing to wash this motherfucker out of my hair with some mountain spring water.
But Ridge is gonna put on that scavenger hunt, that treasure hunt, and she gonna melt because they talked about it today, Bubbles. Steffy and Taylor talked about the treasure hunt, and I believe we're getting it in Aspen.
Honey, she gave it to us in great detail because they couldn't give us a flashback. But if you notice, she gave that to us in flashback detail.
The boat, the island, the truck, the exit, the sand, everything.
Yeah. And I like that her and Steffi were mimicking each other. I heard this story my entire life. Like she know blow by blow, play by play. That was really cute.
Right. And you told him to go away because you didn't want to, like it was beautiful.
It was
beautiful. And we're going to get it again. And I want Taylor to still tell him no one asked him because it can't
be. So do I. Because, Bubbles, you hit it right on the head because you see, that's my thing. I want her to turn him down. Because he deserves to be turned down. Because
Yeah.
let's be honest, up to this point, him going to organize a goddamn scavenger hunt don't mean shit if
Mm.
he can't follow it up with action. Because we already been on this particular trip before. We
Thank
was in when they was in Monaco, when that kiss happened, and it felt like it changed things. But they came back to LA, and it was all what happened in Monaco stays in Monaco, and I'm back on fuckboy time. So he gonna have to do that. While I appreciate, the nod to Tridge history, and him probably ended up doing the scavenger hunt to remind her of their love and how powerful it is. He gonna have to back that shit up with something else.
Right. You need to be backing that shit up with some signed and notarized and the damn when you get stuff notarized and they put it into the court logs, they give you a record of the recording that shows you what book and what page number in the book that was recorded in. I'm gonna need your divorce papers signed and notarized, and I'm gonna also need the original copy of that form that they gave you telling you on what page number and what book your divorce has been recorded in. I don't want none of this shit to pop up 6 months from now talking about the divorce didn't really go through. No, sir. I want this signed, sealed, and delivered, and I want you to get a new phone number so that hoe ain't ringing my number in the middle of the night looking for you.
Bubbles.
Yo, you mean like what's gonna happen with Shauna, huh?
That's
Right,
what I was finna say.
right.
And
Bubbles, remember when we talked about Shauna could be coming back for 3 reasons. I keep harping on how the meant to be keeps floating around Taylor. I believe
Yep.
all the stars are going to align.
yeah,
Yes.
because
Shauna
once
is
he
gonna
Yes.
once
come
he turn him
and
down in Aspen, that's when Shauna's gonna kick back in. Shauna's gonna come back, be like, y'all wasn't really married, right? Because we never really
Yes.
finalized the divorce.
Thank
So
you.
exactly, and
Mm-hmm.
I
that's
can,
that's
I
gonna
can,
be the meant to be. It's all
yeah.
gonna line up without manipulation this time.
I
I
believe
don't
it.
believe. Yep, it's gonna line
I
up.
believe it,
And who
Sam. I think
the
that's
hell?
exactly where they're going.
Who
And
the
Can,
hell
we've
in
been waiting on
wardrobe?
you.
Who the hell in wardrobe thought it was gonna be a funny idea to dress Ridge up like Liam? I want to know what
Oh,
fan pointed it out because y'all got evil ass in this
That was
mud.
hilarious.
who remembered that? That's what my question is. Who remembered that? That was so long
That had to
ago.
been a scene.
It
That
had to
had to
be.
been a scene fan.
Well, no, it wasn't. It's one of those fans that do clips and videos because they see that kind of shit all day.
So
Those are the only people that can remember those parallels. People that do clips and videos all day long.
is it Sin
Ooh,
Rising? Because she's real good at that.
I don't
No,
know if Sin figured it out, but she
no,
is good at that in
no, no,
parallels.
she didn't figure that out. That. But either way it go, I still think it was a steam fan because
you're
I
probably
mean
right because they
the
had to remember
actual
Liam.
they got the actual photo. Like that is freaking funny and it's freaky.
That
But
was a steam fan.
that's
That was a
that's
steamer.
hilarious. That was
Yeah.
some Easter egg hunt right there.
Well,
Now,
y'all know what
what
y'all need to quit.
one
That was
brief
a
point
steamer.
I wanted to
Them steamers then got like them lopers. That was a steamer.
Now,
one brief point that I wanted to bring up, though I hate to say it, I'm gonna be
Uh
honest. I was
oh.
displeased with my girl Steffi today because,
Yeah.
Really?
hun, yes, it was because while I understand that she feels that her parents are destiny, that they're true love, that they're meant to be, etc., etc. I'm glad that she pulled back on the shit that she was pulling because I didn't appreciate it either. I'm like, honey, look, your daddy ain't nothing but the OG version of Liam. Okay. And just as you eventually got tired of the bullshit, it is not impossible for your mother to be tired of the bullshit.
yeah.
Now,
But Steffi ain't never gonna see it from that our
no,
perspective.
She,
That's the
yeah.
hold up.
no, she's
She's
not.
looking at it, but darling, I said before, she's looking at it like Brooke is the Liam in that relationship, and her dad is the Taylor. And she is trying to free her dad from basically a woman version of Liam, because if she don't get her dad away from her, she knows Brooke is going to continue to hurt her dad. See, that's how Steffi's looking at it.
I think
And she
Steffi's
also told her
perspective.
mother today she wasn't ever gonna. She understand her, but she's not gonna give up thinking that they belong together. Her and her dad belong
Steffi,
together.
my girl, and I'm 10 toes down for her. But yeah, she got on my nerves today with that shit. And I'm gonna stay on that
Oh,
one just because at the end of the day, it's like this. Steffi went on to find the greatest love of her life when she was finally able to put
true.
Liam in her rearview mirror. And her the feeling that Brooke is the Liam in the situation is kind of sort of blinding her to the fact to her father's failings. Taylor's not blind to it because Taylor realized today that no matter how much she loves Ridge or that Ridge loves her, because she has no doubts about that. She does
Yeah,
not doubt her love for Ridge and she does not doubt Ridge's love for her. But what
exactly.
she understands is that her love for him cannot overcome his own stupidity when it
Right.
comes to Brooke Logan.
Yeah, but you know what though, from Steffi's point of view and Steffi's perspective, it's been pretty crystal clear and it hasn't been muddy at all.
Mm.
Yes.
Steffi
And not
sees her father miserable. Steffi
Yes.
sees her father happy with her mom.
Yes.
Steffi knows her parents love each other.
Yes.
Regardless of the negative that has happened between Taylor and Ridge, Steffi is a practical woman and 2 plus 2 equals 4. And
That's it.
that's all she's
So
thinking.
why are they not? Well,
She's mini Stephanie. She is Stephanie Douglas Jr. No
all
matter
over again.
all that stuff, no matter the ifs and the buts and the candies and the nuts, it was just point blank in the period. Brooke ain't good enough for Ridge. Steffi feels the same way.
Mhm.
So
and it's like
And
they're
don't tell
making it
Brooke about it.
difficult.
and
It's
I
like
don't
they're
think she
making it
sees it.
difficult.
And she's not seeing, I don't think Steffi is making any parallel between her
No.
mom and Liam. I don't think that she's consciously doing that at all. I
No,
believe that she
Nobody's
between
just,
doing it.
between Lee, no Brooke. Well, what I'm saying is, I'm looking at it like that's how I see it. I see Brooke as a as a female version of Liam, and I'm feeling like Steffi, if she's looking at it through my lenses too, she's probably looking at Brooke the same way. Like, you will always hurt my dad. Like, I look at Liam like he's gonna hurt whoever woman he's married to, he is always going to hurt them because he's always going to cheat. It's the same thing with Brooke. She is the female version of Liam. It is no difference. The only difference between Liam and Brooke is she is a woman and he is a man. They are the same character. And that's my version of it. That's how I feel like she may see it. I mean, she may not say it, but she's probably looking
Unconsciously.
at it like that. And like you said, Sam, Steffi is looking at it like, hey, 2 plus 2 is 4, make it happen. Why are they making it so difficult? When you're with Brooke, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get tragedies, you're going to get lies, you're going to get scandals, you're going to get hurt, you're going to get pain. When you're with my mom, look at how you light up. Look at how happy you are. You anxious and looking forward to coming over for the next day. That's that 2 plus 2, Sam. But Tridge is making it difficult. That's what. So I can understand all versions of that. So that's what I'm saying about it.
I,
People. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bubbles.
I was just gonna say real quickly that I agree with Darling. I don't want to see Steffi pushing her mama into this relationship, knowing that once she was free of Liam, she got Finn. And I was saying today when she was talking to Taylor, girl, don't you want your mama to find her Finn? Don't you want your mama
Yeah.
find the man that only has eyes for her? I know you love your daddy, but don't you
Mhm.
want your mama to have a man who appreciates her and she ain't got to ever worry about him coming straight home to her like you do with Finn, and he loves her kids just like Finn loves Kelly? Like, don't you
Yeah.
want that for your mama? Why you is she sitting there
She
telling you
think that's real.
tired of your
I mean,
dad?
and
You
and
know,
Bubbles, part of that. Oh, go ahead, Can.
it's different. I guess I don't know. I guess looking from the viewpoint of a child and
yes.
their parents.
Hmm.
Now, let's look at the household that they grew up in. They grew up in the household when Taylor was on and she wasn't gone. That was full of love. That is still present.
Yeah.
She still see that. She identifies it and feel it when she is near and in the same room her parents so much that she tells her husband, see, that's what I was talking about. You see that? This
I'm,
one,
I'm,
you feel it, and it's just like you can't want anything better than when you already seen the best. So it's
That's
just
right.
like
from Steffi's perspective.
when you see them done went out and then got something else, aka bridge, and you see how miserable that person can be. You be like,
Frankie.
I don't want this to have this when I know you can have better. And I've
Right.
seen you with better. And it's just like I need you to click on the same as me. But at the same time, now let's take Kelly. Kelly has never seen her parents happy together.
Correct.
Okay, but she still had the nerve to call her daddy and just was like, you know what, you should come over, dad, because, and whispered it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's something, it's identifying that this is my dad and this is my mom, and when I'm happy with them, I want us all to be happy together. So
Yes.
To
it
piggyback off Bubbles. Right. I agree with you, Ken.
So it's kind of like it's really bad when you've lived in that environment and you know it. Now I understand Steffi got out of it and she got out of a whole different situation, but it's very similar. But at the same time, it really kind of wasn't. I mean, you could say, yeah, but this whole entire time, I'ma say it. I'ma just say it. I'ma just say it. The fucking entire time Liam has been with either woman, he been trailing all the other females. When Ridge was with Taylor, he was with fucking Taylor. Brooke was coming along for the ride.
But see,
That's
but Steffi as a child though, still doesn't know the. She might have heard the details, but that's the details is not. I don't think is what's driving Steffi.
I
As
don't
to
think it
add
is
on to
either.
what Bubbles
It's
was
just feeling.
saying, to add because Bubbles was adding on to you, and to add on to Bubbles regarding Steffi wanting Taylor to have what she has now within. If from Steffi's perspective, that Taylor's fin is Ridge from Steffi's perspective. From Steffi's perspective, a wrong happened and their family was torn apart. And since then, neither one of them have been fully happy. She sees Ridge as Taylor's fin. I don't think Steffi identifies her situation at all in anything like her mother's. Even though we see it, I don't think
I don't
Steffi
think
sees
so.
it
Yeah.
either. If she sees Ridge as Taylor's fin, and she has
Finn,
good
that's
reason
right.
to. She has
See,
good reason
that's the
to, because as a child, you don't see your parents have problems. It's you oblivious to the real
but
details
Sam,
of it.
the thing is that's a retcon because Steffi, out of her own mouth, has previously told Liam on specific occasions she wanted better than her mama did.
Yeah.
That she
Yes, she
didn't want
have.
her. That she didn't want her, Liam, and Hope reliving the bullshit that Taylor, Brooke, and Ridge relived. So she has. So if that's the story they're selling now, then they're retconning some significant conversations that happened previously where Steffi did see parallels between her relationship with Liam and Hope and her
That's true.
parents and Brooke.
Yep.
That is true. But I have to defend Steffi in the current storyline because Steffi only is doing what Steffi has been told. And so I have to deal with Steffi because she's my fave from the
Oh yeah,
perspective
she's
of
still my
this
girl.
storyline, right? And from the perspective of this storyline. And that is what they write. And I mean, we all said from the point when Taylor came back that Taylor should have been having that conversation that I told Hope that I wanted better for Kelly and that this, that, and the other. But it was the exact opposite. They sent her in parent trapping. So of course it's a retcon.
A lot of people noticed that my name is
Okay, I'm sorry, y'all.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I got distracted, but Michelle Morgan just officially announced that yes, she is out at YNR. So
Okay,
Okay.
so
the
it's not
Congrats.
speculation, yeah,
recurring. She's not
yeah.
recurring. She's definitely
I
out.
feel like at this point in my life,
Hold on a second, because
I,
she posted something to her stories because I know Michelle Stratford. Not to get us off track, y'all. I'm sorry, but Michelle Stratford posted something, and everybody was like, "Well, that sounds like she gone."
okay,
And
guys,
hold
so
on,
I
listen.
just wrapped from my last scenes back at YNR, and I just wanted to let the cat out of the bag a little bit. A lot of people have noticed that my name is not on the main credits anymore, and I wanted everybody to know that it was my decision. I decided, actually back in December, that I wanted to take a bit of a step back from the show. I just feel like at this point in my life and at this point in my career, I wanted to mix things up a little bit. But YNR will always be home, and I have so appreciated safe place to land that they've given me. So I know that I can be back. They're like family to me, and coming back just reminds me of that. And I'm so appreciative for you guys and all the fans who have supported me along this YNR journey. And I'm still on it. I'm still gonna be recurring.
Oh, she
so
is
you'll
recurring.
still
Okay.
catch me in Genoa City. Mwah. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys for being a part of this. And keep looking out for new things.
Okay, so correction. Yes, she is. She did drop to recurring, and apparently it was her choice to drop to recurring.
Ain't that some shit though? That you let your Emmy winning actress drop to
Drop to recurring, girl. What the hell? I don't know. I would not
She
understand.
just got back though. I mean, how?
That sounds
I
like
guess. I don't know.
a rehearsed speech for
It did.
I don't know. I
It
don't want to.
sounded
I don't
like
want to
she was
distract us from
reading
Young and the
something
Restless.
that was written for her, Can. That's exactly how I heard it. Cause the whole time she was talking, I'm thinking, well, you just got back. What does that mean? You taking a step back? It's like somebody gave her that to say. That was rehearsed.
I don't understand it. Well, I don't want to distract us from Bold and Beautiful because I know we got a lot of road to
yeah,
cover. We could
Oh
right.
probably
yeah,
swing back to Wyatt at the end and talk about this mess with Michelle Morgan because yeah, that shit makes no
Good,
sense to me.
good. Now can we get on still because I
Okay.
appreciate it.
I don't
Frank,
know. We have we done have we stopped around on Taylor and Ridge in the yard enough? It's only 8:30.
Yeah, I'm done with them because
Oh
my
yeah.
I
Taylor
thought we was talking about Steffy and Taylor.
Well yeah. Well yeah.
That's what we done with. We
Well
ain't
yeah.
talking
We
about
covered. Yeah, we covered Taylor. Coming to some conclusions, and I got
Mm-hmm.
out my little feelings about Steffi being a little bit too determined to see her mama on this path. So those two things have been covered. So we can move on to the next one unless anyone else has something to add.
no, because I want to talk about Liam's raggedy ass.
mm, yes,
It's time
that.
to talk about his raggedy ass
All right.
running home.
I just can we start when he came in the door, Bubbles, using the key? Can we just start there from the very beginning?
Mm.
That's what I said. He walked in like, "Honey, I'm home."
Yeah,
Will you just? Oh, okay. Y'all
yeah.
big house now. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that's so familiar.
Damn it, ain't
And
it
she
though?
was sitting
Wasn't it
there
though?
calm and cool, like it's natural.
It was. It was very natural for him to come up in his boo thing. I mean, his mother-in-law house with his own personalized key,
The
and
boo
for him to check on him thing
on
to
his
see how
boo,
she
yeah.
doing because she looked it very, very just like, oh,
He
you
said,
can't
And
figure out your feelings. She was
wasn't it?
all in her feelings, and he felt it.
He
Bad,
said,
bad.
I'm sorry I just took off that way. I'm,
Now,
Mhm.
I'm
Now,
sorry I
Bubbles.
see,
took
that's
off so quickly.
wh-
What the
what was
hell?
funny about that whole setup was now Brooks on the damn couch looking all forlorn at all these damn bridge pictures, and Liam comes in with the key, which is odd enough. So, but here's the thing: he thought that she was Hope, and that Hope was up there. So, someone riddle me this? Why would Liam? Because obviously, between what Liam said and also what Bill said when he talked to Steffi, that meeting that was pushed back obviously happened. That's where he went. That's where Bill I guess was too. So
Yeah.
riddle me this. If Liam's coming home from work from a meeting, why is he going straight to the big house and not to the cabin?
Because
Yeah.
he
And
thought
You
asking, oh,
because
doing?
I thought Hope was still there.
when he left, exactly. When he left Brooke and Hope there. When he came back, he was coming through the door talking like both Brooke and Hope were still there. So he must not have been gone long. I don't think he went to a
He
work
ain't
meeting.
called
He
nobody. He ain't did nothing. He just assuming shit
because I
all
don't
the way
think
home.
listen.
I would
I,
have went straight to my house. Like
Right.
I'm going straight home to my woman house.
I,
I'm not going to assume my woman is in my mother-in-law's
That's
house
right.
and
guys,
use the key to
I
come
don't
in to let myself in.
I don't think that he was gone long enough to think that Hope left the house. I
I
don't think
Mm-mm,
I
I
understand
don't
don't
what
think
buy it.
I
I
don't
understand what you were saying, but I'm just saying that's really it. It seemed very opportunity
It's
to
weird.
be that way
It was
because
weird. That's right.
how are you going to, first of all, you leave abruptly, so you don't call to rectify that. You just abruptly leave and then abruptly come back. It's just like, it's just nah,
What I
nah,
thought was
listen.
weirder, what I thought was weirder is that when he did say, "Oh, is Hope not here?" She was like, "Oh, I don't know." Literally, she didn't know. Did y'all see
So
that
I
response? I
saw
thought
that,
that was
and I'm
weird.
gonna tell you, I just watched it again, Sam, and I just saw that, and you know what? The first thing came to my mind: why is she sitting there so calm, cool, and collected, and she didn't just being accused of something of this caliber,
Mm-hmm.
and she just looked like out of space, like
Yeah,
And she
Lucy,
literally
Lucy,
said,
oh,
she was
looking at the
literally like,
pictures.
right, "Oh, I don't know." I mean, she literally said, "Well,
she just,
this is
I'm
Hope.
not
This is
sure.
Hope." Yeah,
she
and
been
she
Yeah, that's
said
what
it
she
so
said, Dawkins.
disassociating,
She
nonchalantly.
said, "I'm
disassociating
not
herself.
sure."
She disassociating herself, and it seemed very, very loopy, like she having a mental episode or something.
I
And she
felt that
giving those
striking.
and she giving squinty eyes to the pictures on her damn credenza. I'm like, why are you squinching, doing that evil look of yours at your own damn pictures with your man? Girl, what?
She
There's
calibrated,
something
she
going
recalibrating that.
on.
Her brain,
It's something
her
going
brain,
on.
her brain really trying
Yeah.
to come to grips with what's happening. That's what it seemed like. It seemed
And
like she,
Liam, and Liam was worried about her, Can. He
mm-hmm.
wanted to, he was like, what's the matter, darling? Are you
Right. I
okay?
want
What
to know the people.
happened?
Y'all know what that, but y'all know where that is. There ain't nothing that Liam Cooper Spencer love more than a maiden in distress.
Saving. He's
Right.
he
That
tried to
is
save
his
her.
crack.
And
I
not only that, can I
say that too, y'all. Hey, baby, what's wrong?
Yes.
That was Toto's energy that they was giving us.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
you
can,
know I care about you. I care about you, girl.
Yeah.
I see you looking some kind of way. That tear in your eye, girl. Let me wipe it away for you.
Yes, he
sweet
did.
thing.
Y'all, he did.
Mm.
They were acting like a married couple. He
And
was like he didn't forgot about Hope. He just said, "Oh, I thought Hope was still here," and went rolled on into Brooke. Brooke, what's the matter,
He stopped
baby?
looking
You
for his
okay?
wife damn quick.
You okay? Like you?
That's
Why you look so
exactly
hurt? Why you been crying, baby? What's wrong?
that is
it
Tell
seemed,
me
exactly
about it.
if
that
it was a, if it was a puddle of tears right there, he would have took off his jacket and jumped over it and helped her get up out of there. And can we talk about? Ain't nobody make not one damn tweet about Brooke got her feet on the couch, but I'll leave it alone. She's sitting
Yeah,
there with
girl.
her foot on the couch. Well, let it been Taylor.
I'm still, yeah. I mean, yeah. Maybe I'm reading more into this, but I felt like Liam was very dismissive because it was from the moment he walked in the door with the key. For me, like he was walking in his own home. Hope don't live there. Don't assume Hope there. At least that's what I would tell my husband. Don't assume I'm nowhere. Call me. And then he
Yeah,
went right
yeah.
off into like, oh, I thought she was still here, and he went right on into. What's
Mm-hmm.
the matter, bro?
so
What's going
because this
on?
basically is the beginning of the Brooke and Liam relationship. We are
That's what I
watching
want to
it
talk
now.
about. Thank
So
you.
what had happened today was we have seen, but now we are seeing the beginning of the foundation and the basis of Brooke and Liam's relationship. And it is that those two agree and are on the same page with Douglas and Thomas' agenda. They both have personal agendas. They don't want Douglas with Thomas for their personal reasons. Liam don't want Douglas with Thomas because that means that Hope will be spending major time with just Thomas and Douglas at the mansion. Brooke don't want Hope spending any time with Thomas at all. So she is hell bent on keeping him in the cabin under lock and key with Liam because she can trust that Liam gonna keep Thomas at bay. So these two are driven by a an objective that really has nothing to do with Douglas. It's their own personal agenda, and that's going to be the basis of their relationship. Like we talked about Deacon and Sheila, like Bubbles talked about Deacon and Sheila being able to help each other. We actually gonna see that with Brooke and Liam.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. And the kick
It was
about it is this.
cozy.
And that, yes, it was. And that's the thing. Liam, a woman in distress is Liam's kryptonite. He can't resist it. He can't turn away
Yes,
from it. It is not
yes,
something he can pass by. Doubly
that's
so if
right.
it's a female that, he finds attractive or appealing for some other reason. And right now, he's probably not at that level when it comes to Brooke because, she's his mother in law. But how do I put this? Them vibing on the same path when it comes down to everything related to Douglas and Thomas is more than he has more in common with Brooke right now than he had with Hope when he first started fooling with her.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Can we assume that they one night tryst is gonna happen before Thanksgiving and before
Yes,
Brooke come out with
yes,
this before Brooke comes out with this mental break?
yes,
Because I see it now. I can see that they are literally going to, you know, give us what we've been wanting. They finally gonna give it to us, but they gotta put it underneath the umbrella because she was mentally broken. So broken is going to be mentally broken. That's why she gonna finally have.
Oh no, Can.
Can
so
can
can
we lost you mid sentence, mid
Sure
word
did.
actually.
but I gotta agree with Darling on this. Liam is in Captain, save a hoe mode. And that's his kryptonite. I mean, darling, you couldn't have said it any better. A woman in distress is his kryptonite, and we just had it. He was never like that with Steffi until the shooting, and he was in full. 100% captain. He had his S on his chest and his cape on his back when Steffi got shot, and Hope couldn't get him out of that emergency room. So this, I want to agree with Can Can. I do believe we will get a brim before the holidays because after Tridge happens in Aspen, Brooke is going to be devastated, and I'm not looking for them to send Bill to save her. I feel like Liam is going to be there because he has always been there for her lately. Always. Let's just think about all these last things, these last couple of weeks or the last couple of months. It's been Brooke and Liam without even Hope. It's just been Brooke and Liam, Brooke and Liam. We may or may not get Hope, but we're definitely getting Brooke and Liam. And he's so, he have become very protective of Brooke. He has to make sure Hope understands, I understand your mother. I got her back. I am with her 100% on this. So yeah, I'm thinking of before. Yeah,
Can
Hello.
can
can
are you
can.
back?
Hey, we
I'm like,
lost you. No,
We
we
lost
thought
you.
you were gone.
hello, y'all can't hear me.
We
No,
couldn't hear
you were
you.
talking and then all of a sudden you went dead.
And you were not on mute. I checked. You were here, and I was like, well, maybe something happened on her mic on the other side.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
like. I was playing with the mic button right
See,
now,
Uh,
and that's why I came back in. So I don't know what happened.
no, go ahead. We
Go
lost you
ahead.
for a second, but
The
go
re-
ahead.
but the reason why I brought that up is also because this is around the same time. That was around the same time that they had the one night stand with Steele. So my thing,
and also the one night stand between that disgusting COVID one night stand, and also they always seem to do one night stands between, to me, the scene between October, November, and December.
yes. So
Fall.
that,
Yep.
yeah, because it's for November sweeps. But look, it
Exactly.
it's it's gonna be very poetic though because I am tired of them saying anything about this one night stand that was not provoked by Steffi at all, right? So now
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna have this whole thing where hashtag Brim finna happen, and I'm gonna be
Mm-hmm.
very interested in see who make the first move.
Oh, I'm telling y'all right now. The day we get when we get confirmation of this, the day it happened, I'm taking off.
No, I'm
I'm
shipping.
gonna show my whole ass all over at least half a day something because I'm sure show my whole ass from the time the show broadcast to the time we have drinks. As a matter of fact, if it's a Friday tag when it happened, Bubbles, we gonna have a special edition.
Can we get a camera too, Bubbles? I want a special edition with cameras. I want us all to have our cameras up that day, please. Yes,
Hold on.
You know what?
I
I
am
think
here.
that should be. I think that should be a bet if we get it. But you know what though? I get off at 8 o'clock. I might not have the time to get fancy. They might slam it on us, and I might have to show up, hunty, like auntie, like to
I'm
show up
gonna
like
put
the
on
auntie.
glam. Man, I'm
But
I'm
hey, I
getting
might not
glammed
have
up.
time.
I'm going to somebody and get glammed up. You hear me? I'm finna go pay somebody $60 to go put some war paint on my face, and I'm
Mm-mm.
getting my bald headed hair done. I might get it colored, and I'm going to buy me a brand new fancy dress, honey, because this is something for the ball. Look, baby, for the
Listen.
record, this is going to be great for
We are.
us.
I take it.
Relative,
All of us gonna be shipping Briam then.
swear.
I
Listen,
Oh
will.
yes, oh
All
yes.
of us gonna be
I,
shipping Briam.
I'm relishing in
I
it
will be
already.
shipping
Let's see
Bubba
Bria.
what happens.
said, look, Bubba said when I was in DC, I remember when we had this conversation, Bubba said if Brim happened, she'll be shipping Hope. I remember that conversation. She said, I will be Team Hope because Hope will be devastated after this.
I would definitely
Dad
be
drinks
shipping
after
Briam.
dark. Oh, we gonna
I.
definitely be shipping Brim. Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna be acting a whole fool.
I
I'm
sure am.
apologizing now.
I want to know. I want to hear the conversation. Well, they done slept together, and then Hope gonna be talking to Steffi, and he be like, "Well, what about my mom? What about? Well, leave her with Liam. Like just like she said, leave Steffi with Bill. Leave Liam. Leave him with
Yes,
Liam. Girl, find you a new man. Get you a new
yes.
listen, you
It's her
guys.
turn.
I am going to be a Hope fan, and I am
Yeah.
going to be the biggest. I'm good. My Brim chip love is gonna be like just one. It's gonna be one level below how I feel about Steffi and Finn. That's how hard I'm fixing to ship Brim. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna do like fanfic where they get married and they adopt kids and they fight Hope for custody of Beth because Hope isn't stable.
We would have to
Yeah.
have. Hey, Bubbles. We would have to have a special segment just for fanfic of what's happening today between Brooke and Liam.
Look, girl,
Listen, even if it don't take but 5 minutes, like you said with Clarence, well, we could do a segment on what happened today between Brooke and Liam.
listen.
Yes.
A whole fanfic.
If they pop off for real, I'm taking the rest of the day off. I'm gonna tell my boss, you know what? I don't feel real good today. I'm sick, and then I'm gonna take the rest of the day off, and then I'm gonna go get my nails done, and then I'm gonna come back to the house and beat my face and put on one of these evening gowns that's collecting dust in my closet. And then I'm gonna get on this camera and I'm going to just spew all of the love I have in my heart for Brim. Finally,
And y'all know they gonna put in the spoilers. Y'all know they gonna put in the spoilers.
You know
so
what?
we're gonna have ample enough time to get banners,
Listen.
all kind of shit.
Maybe not. They might pull that just like they got that one day spoiler to say no spoiler for that day. Isn't that coming up where there's a day where
They did come out with it
They
Yep.
eventually.
put a spoiler out. Steffi and Bill sleep together. I want a fucking spoiler that say Liam and Brooke getting it on. I want the same damn treatment. Don't deny me. If y'all gonna put
Girl, I'm gonna be up here with my
and Bill
one of my Kentucky Derby hats on.
Listen, I
There
don't
we
even
go.
have to see. I don't even have to see Brooke and Liam get down. I can see them go in for the kiss and they can fade to black. Long as I know that they did the dirty for a fact, I'm happy with it. Because all I'm gonna want to do is I want to see it reenacted where Brooke is begging and crying to Hope because she done slept with her man. The same thing that happened with Bridget. And I won't Hope to tear Brooke a new asshole. And I want her to then after that turn her wrath on her waffle boy. because she gave up her values and her morals
Yep. And her
all
Yep.
sanity.
for a man, a boy, a man child that
Mm.
Yep.
wasn't even worthy because he couldn't even wait for her virginity.
Yep.
That's
He
right.
couldn't even
Mm-hmm.
wait for it. He took her through changes, married somebody else, and then after that took her virginity, and she still didn't get married to the bum. He still
Yep.
ended up married and having kids with the other woman. So
Yep.
I think that she deserved it. She need to have an epiphany moment, and I need for her to say that she should have left his ass after she saw him in Stephanie in that hotel room in
In
Italy
Italy.
when they before they got married. She should
Yep.
recall back to then and say, I should have held and stuck with my guns when I
Mm.
told you that you wasn't good enough for me.
Mm. Yep. Because
And
that was
then
it.
maybe I stand. And then maybe I stand. Hope Logan.
Oh.
Oh, who's got that going on? Oh,
Oh.
Is that you?
What what is that?
An
An
echo from
echo.
the broadcast.
that is not me.
Hmm? Was
Is
not
it
I
me?
said the mouse?
It stopped when Can went on mute.
Is it me?
No, I think it was.
Is
No.
it me?
If y'all listen, I just said
Oh.
I think
I'm
it's Ken.
sorry, you guys. This is about my uncle. I have to go. I'll be right back as soon as I can.
Okay,
Oh,
go.
okay,
Okay.
hon. Go ahead.
I
So
But
heard you say
yeah.
that, Bubbles. I don't know why I asked again. I'm sorry.
Honestly, yeah, they might. I will say that they may manage to make hope stands out of a lot of people if they do this. If they do that mess, they really will.
yes,
Cause that's
I would
Yeah.
have to if she literally, after ripping her mama to shreds, she would I would need for her to admit that she made a mistake when she thought that he was worthy enough for her values. Hope Logan
Yeah.
had values when she came out on the show, and because she didn't want to be seen like her mom, and she wanted to
Yeah.
make sure that she was a virgin. And when she
Yeah.
got married, that was the only man that got her cooch.
That's
But
right.
she thought that Liam Spencer was the one.
Yeah.
And listen, and this is why this has always been my thing. These girls, both Hope and Steffi, their only real mistake that they've made was
Was
trusting
Liam.
that that deadbeat bastard was
Yeah.
worth any of the hell that he has put them through. That
That's
young girl
right.
Hope Logan had principles, but
That's
she
right.
decided that Liam Spencer was worth those
Worthy.
principles, and
That's right.
she sold those principles the night she slept with him and gave him her virginity while he was still a married man to Stephanie Forster.
That's right.
So
hmm
I need her to recall all the way back to that, and then maybe I stand.
That's right, y'all. That's right.
you're not wrong. Because yes, that honestly was one of the worst parts about Steffi and the Steffi Liam Hope thing was that Hope literally, cause, and Lord knows I was back in steam because that was my preferred ship. But yes, Hope had to compromise her own ethics, her own morals,
Mm.
in order to get the man that she was in love with, and she never should have had to do that.
And
I
when
think
she
that's
did
when I
that,
stopped.
that's
Yeah.
when it was it for me, because I was
It
just
was
like, okay,
yeah.
so she's actually just like
Her
Brooke.
mama. Yeah.
Instead of her just being the slut until she got the man, she basically used it the opposite. She used her virginity, which is still using your pussy,
Yeah,
to get
hmm
the man. And
yeah.
That's
that's how
right.
come I am such an anti Hope Logan fan, because you can't. I love villains. I don't. It ain't that she do bad shit. It's that you can't do these bad things and then still think that you're gonna be looked at as the character, as the moral high ground. No, ma'am.
It don't work like that. It
Not
doesn't
when you
work
just
like that.
sold out your principles. You are not the moral authority. You are an example of what not to do. Don't whore yourself
Hmm.
out, whore your values out for a dude that he was not willing to wait for you. He had proved that when he married Stephanie Forrester.
Exactly. He was, and that was the part that always kicked me out about that at the beginning, was that I was like, you know what? Liam obviously wants more than Hope is ready to give him, which makes him kind of, it's one of the reasons why, even though Emma was a terribly undeveloped character, they didn't really do much with her. But the one thing they did correctly with her character was having her have Xander go kick fucking rocks because he wanted sex. She wasn't ready to give it to him, and she just let him go get it from Zoe. That was the
That's right.
only defining thing, good thing they did with that girl's character, because they never fleshed her out. They never really gave her anything of her own to work with before they decided to make her a stupid text and driver and a Hope Logan sycophant. But that was the one thing that they did correctly with that character. Was that she was like, you know what? Nah, I'm not even trying to do this with you. If that's what you about, then you go be about that with her over there.
Right. And now
That's
this is
right.
the thing with the Hope Logan and the Briam situation is
Mm-hmm.
that Hope is going to learn this valuable lesson. She gonna learn all her lessons, it seems, at one time. Because what is the big thing about Hope that I say, that we all say? She's just a freaking child. She is about to do
Mm-hmm.
some real growing up fast, because she is going to learn
Mm-hmm.
some lessons. She about to learn firsthand who her mammy is. She
Exactly.
gonna
Can't
Mm-hmm.
even
learn
deny about
firsthand
that.
who Brooke is, and then she's going to learn again. She's going to
Mm-hmm.
realize what mistakes she made when she sold her values at for Liam Spencer. So
Yeah.
she is about to learn a lot of lessons if the powers that be is that creative. And guess what? Just like we all have agreed, they could make a lot of fans for Hope Logan, but they won't do it.
And the one thing that sticks out to me most about this is that one of the things that always stuck with me, because pretty much every word of Bridget's confrontation with Brooke way back in the day, right before Brooke, gave birth to Hope, was
Yeah.
that Bridget basically told her mom in no uncertain terms, she was like, you were going to let me stay with that man.
Yeah.
Okay, you are going to let me stay with him. You were going to let me have children with him,
Yeah.
knowing what you know and having done what you done. And I remember to this day Brooke saying that it was okay because Deacon really loved her. And I like practically threw
Oh,
up in my mouth going like, Brooke, do you not realize how much of a catastrophe
but that's
it
what
would have
she do
been?
though.
Exactly. How
Yeah.
much of a catastrophe it would have been if Bridget had gotten pregnant by Deacon, knowing damn
Yeah.
well that Hope is Deacon's, that her half sister is her husband's half a daughter, and then, but that is what comes to
Ooh.
mind when I think about Briam and the fact that Hope and Liam already have a child together.
Mm.
About how much more destructive this is than what she did to Bridget, because Hope has a child with this man already.
Well, I mean, to me, it'll be, I feel like it's time for Hope Karma too. Just like I wanted to be Brooks Karma, I need her to get hers. When Trish go off to Aspen, all of this is going to be happening. Everything, with the CPS business, I know we hadn't got to that, but like Taylor said today in the scene, this is not me. This is Brooks Karma. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
get out the way from this because this is Brooks Karma. Just like Brooke has to have her karma, Hope has to have her karma too. Now, I don't know if I would ever be, if now maybe if she were to finally admit, like Sam said a moment ago, if Hope were to take that responsibility and finally see, you know, what her mistake, where her karma, why this will be considered her karma, what she did. If she can admit to that, I can stain Hope. I will be able to once Briam happened. But Hope has to get her karma too. She has to, because Steffi had a child when she went in there with and did her thing. Steffi had a child as well, but she didn't care about that. So it's time for Hope to get a little bit of sip of her own Kool-Aid. And just like way back then when Liam was giving her the blues because she was trying to hold on to her virginity. Instead of hanging on to her morals, she gave it to him to keep him. She used it to keep him. It's time for hope to reap too, darling. And I'm okay with that.
Hmm. Oh no, I'm fine with it because part of the problem is that a good chunk of this has been happening because she's in denial about her mom and who her mom is. I mean,
And
because
herself too.
yeah, that
And
she's
her
been in
husband.
And her
exactly
husband.
That's
a
what I
lot of.
mean. She's about to learn a lot of lessons. So if you think about it, this Hope is never going to discuss it from, she's not going to admit culpability from the perspective of what she's done, but she is going to admit the culpability from the perspective of what she has allowed Liam, what she has allowed herself to do under the guise of Liam was worth it. I mean,
That's
she
right.
don't never have to
Mhm.
say that I shouldn't have gave him away him up. She just have to basically admit that he wasn't
He was
worth
never
all the
worth it.
shit that she had to give up in she
And
literally
take from
every
Kelly. And
time
take from Kelly.
but every time she always made herself his mistress though. Every time he was married
Yeah.
to Steffi, she either had sex with him or in the time that she didn't, it was because Steffi lost the baby and Liam left and then she started chasing Wyatt. That was the only time she didn't have sex with Liam when he was married to Steffi.
Right.
But that time is when she was dancing on Aspen's grave. So, she was too busy to have sex with him that time.
Mm.
So now
And
she's
what
never
about
going
this
to do
last
it.
time when she came in, Sam, when
And what she
she whisked
did,
him out of that motel room?
but she couldn't
And
even admit that when Steffi paid her back after that disgusting COVID one night stand. So she's never
yeah,
going to admit it from her perspective of sleeping with Liam, but she needs to admit that he wasn't worth it. She's
he
never going to
wasn't
for
worth her.
herself,
Exactly.
but she needs to at least admit from that he wasn't worth it because for me, he's I don't like her, but he's the biggest trash on the show. And
That's
she
Mhm.
right.
is and if she distanced herself from him, she would become less trashy. I put it that way.
Yes.
But there's no hope for Liam. I don't give a damn
Oh
who
no,
he's with
he's
or what
beyond
he's doing.
redemption.
He's garbage water. But
Yes.
she's got hope if she got a damn clue.
That's right.
Mhm.
Agreed. 100% absolutely. You said that, Sam. She just have to admit nothing she did and allowed him to do to her and allowed herself to take and endure. None of that. Liam was not worth any of that. She pretty much lost herself in his shadow.
Well, that's
And
why
he
she's
wasn't
still
even worthy.
and that's why she still act like a child. We putting this on the this is in perspective of both Liam and Brooke. Both of them have been recently talking down to her, treating her like a child, basically
Yeah,
leading the horse to water. And she has to really gain all of her strength to even fight back to them. And it's worthless because they still come right back at her like they ain't phased by her stern tone. So
yeah.
I can
It's
Exactly.
see
like
it.
they just kind of look at each other and like, "Psh, you hear this
She's
shit?
going to
Really?
see that she really hasn't been living her life. She's been living the life her mother planned for her ever since she
That's
fucked
right.
Oliver.
That's right.
Exactly. That's
And
exactly
gave
what
her
happened.
Liam.
He Liam was handpicked for Hope by Brooke to
Yeah.
make up for her sin of sullying poor sweet Oliver. Though let's be honest, there was equal parts sullying on both sides, so nobody was
I
really
want I
innocent.
want Bubbles to talk about Oliver when you're done.
Exactly. So she basically picked him out to replace. It's basically like how sometimes if you break something that you borrowed from somebody and you go get them a replacement because you feel bad, but you're not quite able to find them a replacement just like the one they had. You
That's
basically go
right.
with the nearest thing.
I got
That's
you.
that's what happened with Oliver and Liam. Okay, she realized that she ruined
She
her
broke her
daughter's.
toy.
Yes, she
She had
broke
to get her
Hope's
another
toy.
one.
She ruined her perfect, wonderful first love with
Yeah.
Oliver, and she wanted to fix that. So she went. So that's how Liam's ass when he showed up on the scene. That's how he ended up in that canaveral after he ended up getting out of all the mess he got mixed up with Amber and all that other shit.
Hmm.
Oh, go ahead, Bubbles.
Oliver, I don't even know where to start, but y'all know I feel like he's a pedophile because he only dates
Yeah.
girls. Um,
Mhm.
so the But y'all gonna have me defending Brooke because y'all know how I feel about the wall.
Yeah.
The only, the only person in this whole equation that is completely without blame for anything is Hope. Because all Hope wanted to do was have a kick-ass graduation party so that she could say goodbye to her friends before everybody went off to college. She was just trying to have fun. And what ends up happening completely rocks her world. Her mama sleeps with her boyfriend because her stepdaddy, because back then she was still calling Rich dad, remember? Stepmama that slept with her boyfriend because she thought it was her daddy. Oliver known better because that girl, he knew how hung up. I'm going to say repressed because Hope was 16, 17 years old. She wasn't 18. She's about 16, 17. She's graduating high school. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt and make her 18. She was 18 and graduating high school. Oliver's still a grown ass 20 plus some year old man. He should have known with her being who she was. And she talked to him several times about not wanting to be like her mama. Just like she talked to Liam in the beginning. He knew that Hope wanted to maintain her virginity. What would make you think she gonna want to try to have sex outside on the wall with all her friends at her mama's house where anybody at any time could just like pop in on them?
And honestly, that was the one thing out of Hope's mouth that I totally agreed with in that scenario when the truth came out. She couldn't believe Oliver. She was like, how the hell did you even think for 2 seconds I would have wanted to do something like that? That don't make no sense. And she was right about that.
She's like, I'm a whole
They both knew. They both knew.
Oliver was a horny young man. They don't think when they, it just that's it. So
they
Oliver
thinking what they do.
exactly.
He was thinking what his D.
Once the blood rushed down there, common sense goes out the window.
That's right.
At that point, it didn't matter if Hope was a virgin or if she was a whore. He was getting it in.
That's right. That's right.
With Oliver, he was too much for Hope. And Steffi was trying to tell her that at one time too. Girl, this is a grown ass fucking man. What is he doing with you when you still in high school? Like do you know he pays taxes? Scheduling high school parties. Do you know this man knows how to fill out a 1040 loan form? Do you know that? Do you even know what a 1040 loan is? You out here talking about this your boo. Go on, girl. Let me show you how loyal this man is to you. Let me put on my pretty clothes and show you how loyal he is. See, girl, his dick ain't loyal to nobody but him. So
Bubbles, I gotta add to that. Well, actually, I'm gonna play the devil's advocate to that.
Oh no!
Yes.
When you do this, Sam, no.
Alcina, you know why?
What you got?
You know why? Because Oliver, that pedophile, that grown ass man, that didn't have no business dating that girl that was probably 17, 18 years old. That didn't know her enough to know that she wasn't trying to bust her cherry under those circumstances. But Oliver was better than Liam because Oliver didn't cheat on Hope. Oliver waited for Hope.
Yeah.
Oliver, even after he accidentally slept with Brooke, he still waited for Hope. He never cheated with, he never slept with nobody else after that I know of, even when he was dating Allie, because Allie was super young. I don't think Allie gave him her virginity.
She did not, because she did not to a Puritan. Right after they started dating, they decided she was going to become Team Hope, and she went from being a normal California teenager to some kind of crazy Puritan who was wearing them long Little House on the Prairie dresses
with those collars around the neck. Yes,
Lord,
all the way down to the wrists.
Yeah,
I remember that was very weird.
Like a Pentecostal housewife.
Yeah,
and that girl, and that actress is so freaking stunning.
Yeah.
The actress is
Alexandra Pearson,
beautiful girl, and they just didn't. I mean, even Allie was beautiful though, even with no makeup, with her
They
hair
should have
straight
sent
back.
her away to the sanitarium. They did not have to
Have
kill
to
her.
kill her. They killed Thorne's only child. Thorne
Yeah,
Forrester's only child. What the fuck
yeah.
was they thinking?
Oh,
That was
spoilers!
horrible.
Spoilers
Even for
out,
Ellie.
y'all.
Oh
Okay,
my.
what we got?
Oh my
Okay,
God.
okay. So we already saw these three for next week. Taylor has an epiphany. Donna
Yeah.
voices her concerns to Eric about the Ridge Brooke Taylor triangle, and Brooke
Oh
makes a
Lord.
spontaneous decision. Okay, so we see a picture. There's a picture of Steffi on the phone with somebody. She is obviously in winter wear, so she is in Aspen.
Yeah.
Then we got a picture of Eric and Donna having what looks like a contentious conversation. And so
Mm,
the soap opera previews for next week are Ridge heads to Aspen and Thomas and Hope bond. Now,
mm,
the early edition spoilers. Okay, an important
mm.
piece of information is revealed. So this is not next week. This is the week after next week.
Okay.
Ridge's decision causes heartbreaking drama, and Thomas and Donna squabble over family.
Oh my goodness.
And I have to wonder if that's the right person, if it really is Thomas, or do they mean Eric? But I guess they could.
Yeah.
Thomas and Donna could be squabbling because they're staying in the same house. But I keep thinking that that's supposed to say Eric. I don't know why.
It could be
And
Eric
I
and
think
Donna.
you're right. I
That
think
makes
you're
more
right,
sense.
darling. It don't make sense because they
Yeah.
are. Thomas was already mentioned to be bonding with Hope. I believe you're right. Eric and Donna are going to squabble over family because, of course, Donna is Team Brooke and Eric is Team Ridge in this.
And
Or
that's
yeah, he
right.
go
That's
because
right.
Brooke, because Eric was always Team Brooke, but in this case, he told Taylor and Brooke that he was not taking sides. So in order not to take sides with Brooke or Taylor, he gonna stay Team Ridge. Like I don't give a fuck which about neither one of them. Whoever he want to be with is who I'm riding with him, and whoever he want to be with it was is them, somebody else. So
Uh-oh,
That's
Eric
here's
right.
and
the
Donna.
oh shit. Here's the preview for tomorrow.
That's right. Okay.
Steffi lets Ridge and Thomas know she is taking Taylor to Aspen. Ridge, Thomas, and Walter listen to the CPS call. A heartbroken Ridge is at a loss when it appears that Brooke turned Thomas in. Thomas consoles his father, then pleads with Ridge to leave Brooke for Taylor.
Thomas made that phone call.
Oh
Ah, God damn
Lord.
it.
I don't like it. I don't
Yeah,
like it. It's
we
starting
ain't
to
got to
feel
that
like
part of the
that.
show, but I think we kind of need to get to it since it's a little
Well,
after 8.
I'm glad you brought that up though, because they kind of made it like Brooke today. I'm sorry, because when Ridge called her, when he asked her, they showed her on the phone today rolling her eyes. Like, yeah, I said it and what? Like she had this look like it wasn't supposed to happen that way. Douglas was supposed to be home. What she did was supposed to cause a wrinkle and Douglas would be home. She looked more upset because after Ridge accused her of this, what did she do? She sat her butt down on that couch, started staring at her wedding pictures, looking off in La La Land up until Liam
Mm-hmm.
came in the door and was like, you know, yeah, things just having a bad day, blah, blah, blah. But your husband, your destiny, just accused you of calling CPS on his son. This is not a little bit of thing. Like he didn't accuse you of leaving the milk out, not putting the milk away after you drink it, or leaving the carton half full or less than half full. He's accusing you of calling CPS on his son. This is some major business, and you're not freaking out. You're not yelling.
Mm-hmm.
Thomas is up to his old tricks. That wasn't me, Ridge. No, that's a lie. Brooke would have been in her car, y'all, driving down to the Forrester mansion, or
It
she
was
either would have been
weird.
on Steffi's door, like she did when Steffi intercepted her phone call. She came the next day, right, and charged Taylor up. She should have been charging Steffi up, but she charged Taylor up. When has Brooke ever been quiet about it. And this is Thomas that Ridge is accusing her of, the one she hates. And you just gonna sit down and take it calmly as you did and act like nothing has never happened. Now I know they making it look like Thomas did it, but I don't know, y'all. And that I'm still in the middle.
It's
If y'all can
weird.
tell me one side or another, do your best,
Well,
but I'm still in the middle.
Well, I wanted to float a theory that because today has been theory day, which is one of the reasons I decided to run that damn poll, just because I wanted to see where everybody was landing. But somebody else floated a theory that I had not considered yet regarding Thomas. Now, it's just like how when we say Brooke could have did it, and there are two options as to how that she did it, and now she's lying about it to protect herself and her marriage, or she did it and she has
And she
cognitive
doesn't
issues
remember.
and don't remember she did
Yes,
it.
right.
The Thomas thing floats the same way. One is that he did it to use it as a opportunity to get rid of Brooke. That's simple, okay? But somebody else floated something that I had not thought of before. Okay. We all commented how it was really fortuitous that Thomas remembered that a former Forrester employee was now a consultant for CPS, right? It was just it's too good. It's too good that this person is a consultant, is someone that both Ridge and Thomas know independently, and that who Ridge would not question getting that information from. So that's one. Two, though, while I am aware CPS does move very fast, because when they do get reports of children who are potentially in danger, they do have to move fast on it, because a child's life really could be in jeopardy because of it. But didn't it seem kind of fast? So somebody posted a theory that I think may have some legs to it. And the theory is this: that Thomas didn't really call CPS. That those three people, that the two agents who came to the front door aren't really CPS. Now that the guy who came, that both him and Ridge know, yes, he does consult for CPS, but that this was all prearranged.
Like
So that
Thomas hired a couple of actors.
that yes, that
Yeah,
Thomas
yeah.
arranged all
Sam
of this.
gave us that theory yesterday too, as well. Yeah,
Oh, well, I must have missed it. And so I
yeah,
hadn't given it much thought when I was thinking about Thomas being the one who did it, because I'm like, it's just still some, even on paper, even though, even according to what the guy said, that, the case was closed, there was no need for a follow up. So basically, it all washed out, as the call washes out as no harm, no foul, no negative reflection on Thomas at all. It just felt kind of weird that Thomas would take that damn chance. And then when I read what somebody said, it's like, well, what if Thomas took no chances? What if he just arranged all of this? I mean, this is LA, for God's sake. Actors are a dime a dozen.
yeah. Yeah, Sam gave us that theory yesterday, and it actually does. But this is what I told her when she raised that theory. Okay, so if he hired a couple of actors, he would have to have known that Ridge would want to investigate. Just like when the CPS was there, he was freaking out. He was like, "Don't answer nothing, Thomas. Don't say nothing. Wait till your lawyer get here. Call Carter. I'm looking into this. I'm gonna find out." So he would have known his daddy would at least made one phone call somewhere to validate this story and go deep into it, because Rich's job is to protect Thomas at all costs. So when Sam mentioned the actors, I was like, nah, nah. I mean, it's good now. It's a good
Mhm.
one, but
But you
Thomas would
see,
have to count on his dad not even picking up the phone to look into it at
but that's
all
the
for nothing.
thing.
Yeah.
Thomas was the one who suggested they find out who made the call. He completely, that's the part of this
So
that
then
makes
that
me the
guy,
most.
that friend, the third guy is in on it too, then is what you're
Yes,
saying? The
yes,
third
that
guy
he
is in on it too.
Yes, that he remembered. He said that Walter
Oh,
used to work for Forrester. He was a former employee, but he left the business to go, he
oh,
left Forrester to go do consulting. And that one of the agencies he does consulting for is CPS.
yeah,
So that's
yeah.
right. So that's what I mean. All those people could have been in on it at Thomas's behest, because Thomas, magically remembering that Walter happens to consult for CPS,
Yeah.
let's call him and get him over here and maybe he can tell us who made the call. It all just felt a little too convenient. I
And
hate it
he did
because I
have
love.
two phones today too. He was like, "Oh, wait a minute, wrong phone." So I was like, "What?
Uh,
What you
huh.
mean wrong phone?" And he just got the other phone and hit play. What's the name? Douglas Spencer. Okay, and hit play. That was kind of weird too. You got me thinking. Shit, see,
Yeah.
this shit is just gonna
I don't
blow
want
my
it to be,
doggone
yeah, I
mind.
don't want it to be Thomas, but I was like, but some of the stuff,
Oh,
aside from the weirdness that was on Brooke's side, there was weirdness on Thomas's side that didn't line up neither.
they got them both looking weird, right?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
both look suspicious. But
Yeah. I can't. Bubbles, what you think? I mean, come, what you think, Bubbles? Because my mind is, she just, now Bubbles just mind fucked me right now. Like, I don't even know what to think. She
I
blew my mind.
think it's Thomas. I really think it's Thomas, and I don't want it to be Thomas.
Me
But
either.
Oh my gosh.
like everybody else has been pointing out, Thomas was just too ready with the solutions at the ready. Like, how much of a coincidence is it that a former Forrester employee now works for a consulting company that works with CPS?
And has access to this level of information.
And
The
has
fact that,
everybody's information that he can just pull up an email or pull up the case and see that the files are attached to the case. And in my head, I was thinking, are they using Salesforce? Because they can do that with Salesforce. Or maybe they're using OneNote in Microsoft, because when OneNote attach recordings to what, to my brain, my data analyst brain is sitting here trying to figure out what kind of program he was pulling up on that phone where he can just, because I was like, you just got a recording attached to the, okay, all right, well that was handy.
Yeah, you can have a recording attached to a file. We do that in the office all the time. So that's
you
legit.
can,
I know that you,
Yeah,
true.
that's legit. Yeah.
I've done that
And
myself.
then, true,
I'm just
but in the,
it's just really fucking coincidental.
Yes, that
it
part.
is. And also, not for nothing, state agencies and the
Oh,
contracts that they have with consultants are really strict about what they can access, about what they're not allowed to access anything that's not directly related to whatever whatever function they're serving for an agency. They are not allowed to have access to that. So it was just really, really weird that,
that he had access to it. So that was
yeah,
all, that could have been all state. So all of them were actors, and that was just a fake
except
call
for
that he was
Walter.
playing for Ridge.
Yeah, except for the Walter guy. He's real because Ridge already knows him. The
Yeah,
other two were strangers, but
But
Walter
then,
is
but
a former
Thomas would have had
Forester
to have
employee.
him.
Agree.
So, so are you saying that the app so are you saying that there was a real phone call that he pulled up?
That's the thing. If Thomas used the app that Douglas has been playing with to create that, that's not hard. It's just make all he had to do was make a phone call with the app, have him save it as a sound file, and bam, you got Brooke
But what?
you have
Okay,
Brooke.
so now wait a minute. So I'm confused. Now I'm confused. So are you saying that an actual call went into CPS,
No,
or
no,
are
no,
you
no. That's
saying
what
that
I mean.
Thomas?
That's exactly what I mean, Sanchez. CPS was never really called.
Okay,
CPS,
and
real
the first
CPS,
two people was a couple of actors.
yes, that real
Okay, so
CPS
then
was never involved.
recall. So now the third guy then. So the third guy, if CPS was never actually called, then you're saying the third guy just came in and did, and he was in on the scheme, and he just pulled up a fake phony. Yeah,
Yes,
it was done by the Douglas Voice app, but it was just staged, is what I'm saying, to make it
But
look
you know
like
what though,
he was
exactly.
guys? But
pulling up
listen,
something from CPS. Okay,
hold on,
I
guys.
got you.
Listen, hold on. If I can get in here.
Go ahead.
Um, Bold and Beautiful, even when they doing twists, they don't put a lot of effort into it, right? Y'all, what we are talking about currently is that Bold and Beautiful would put on two different sets of scenes, 2 different days, to basically pull off the exact same hoax. There's no, you feel me? Okay, if Thomas is behind making the call to whoever using the voice app to the ends of Ending Bridge, Thomas would not need it to happen over 2 different trips by 3 different actors. That wouldn't make logical sense, even for Thomas in this planning, and especially for Brad Bell in Bold and the Beautiful. It would only take CPS coming through the door, with already on the phone a phone call from Thomas fake voice from Douglas voice app on it, and after Douglas went upstairs. You feel me? That's, to me, Bold and Beautiful putting in more effort than they need to for the plot. I don't feel like all 3 of them that appeared at 2 different times was all actors paid by Thomas
But
No,
all
just the
using
first
by the
two.
voice app.
she didn't say all 3. She just said the first 2. The third guy is
Just the
not.
first two.
He is
No,
a
the
legitimate consultant who is legitimately working with CPS.
No, but see,
but
that can't be, because remember, this is where I think Lady Sanchez got confused. The whole thing was, if the first 2 are fake, that
mhm.
means that there was never a call that legitimately
Right.
went to the legitimate CPS. Therefore,
Right.
this third guy, that if he is legitimately working for CPS, did not receive a legitimate call from CPS
Yeah.
if it came from Thomas and Douglas, and those first 2 people was not legitimately CPS. How did
Yeah.
the information get from illegitimate CPS people to a legitimate CPS
That's
person
where
is
I'm
what
getting
is Lady
confused.
But
Sanchez got
Yes.
confused. If both of them can't be true.
So let me break
okay,
it down for y'all.
okay, Bubbles, I'm gonna let you do it because I think you're about to say exactly what I'm about to say.
So it is quite possible, because if Thomas is friends with this guy, okay, say me and you friends, and we gonna set up Darling. I'm gonna hire some actors, but you are in a position to do something for me because you work at this company. Darling wants to work at CBS. You already got a job at CBS. So we gonna set up something fake to make her believe there's an opportunity for her. I'm gonna hire some people to go down there and set the stage. Then you are going to come in and seal the deal because you're the legitimate person. This is a fucking con. Y'all ain't never been con before. You don't watch.
Apparently not. Yeah.
This is a classic con. You get 2 people, you got your mark. Ridge is the mark. You get
Exactly.
2 people that you hire to tell the mark whatever you want the mark to know, but you got to have a third legitimate person to sell it. So Thomas is already friends with this guy. He could have called in a favor. Just because he seemed hesitant doesn't really mean that he could be hesitant, or maybe he is hesitant because that's really his job, but he owes Thomas a favor. And Thomas said, dude, I saved your fucking life. You was on the boat that was burning in the middle of the ocean, and I saved you. And you said, whatever I needed, you would come through. So I'm telling you right now, I need you to come and help me sell this lie to my dad. I'm going to make a recording because Ridge don't know what that man pulled up on his second phone. So we're going to make a recording.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to come to my house, and I want you to sell it however you can. But at the end of this, I want you to seem like you just gave in, and you're going to play this recording because we want Darling to believe that Bill Bell
Yes.
Jr. has called her. So I'm going to use this
Mm-hmm.
voice app, and I'm going to pretend to be Bill Bell Jr. We going to record this. And then I want you to come over to Darling's house and play this recording for her so she thinks that Bill Bell Jr. wants to work with her. And so we got the actors that come in. Oh, darling, we seen your resume and your LinkedIn profile, and we think that you're perfect. We have set up a call with Bill Bell Jr. for you. And tomorrow his assistant from CBS is going to come over, and we're gonna have you on the phone. Mr. Bell has a personal message for you. This is a fucking con. I've done.
Exactly.
Let's shake
The,
did in my youth to get people to believe something. All you got to do is got two actors and a legit person to sell it, and the market
Right.
has
Y'all
Walter.
know what's happening right now?
Walter is the shill.
What's happening right now is what happens when soap people get together and talk soaps. We write better stories than the
We
head
do.
writers do.
We
So
That's
that is
do.
what's
right.
happening legitimately right now. As I said from the way beginning, before this third person came, yes, I felt like Thomas had done paid two people because they came in at the same time to
Yeah.
sell this whole
You
CPS
was
thing.
already
I
thinking that.
already
Yeah.
said that. That's what
Yes,
Lady
right.
Sanchez said. Now, again, we talking about Thomas and Brad Bell. No, we ain't talking about Thomas. We talking about Brad Bell and the head
Yes.
writers and how basic they are. What y'all
Basic.
have just went into is an extravagant, true
Yeah.
to life
That's
con.
some
That
soapy
is not
delicious
gonna
shit.
happen right here on Brad Bell's Bold and the Beautiful. It's elaborate
Thank
and
you.
it's ingenious. What would have happened if we would have stopped right there and not had this third person come in, and it was just CPS coming in, a call came in, they leave, and everything. And remember, I said this, and everything goes scot free for Thomas. It
Yeah.
absolutely leans towards
It
Thomas.
looks.
Now,
That's
now
right.
this now we talking about Brad Bell. Y'all hatched an elaborate scheme. Brad Bell will not do that just
I'm
because
with
it's
Sam,
perfect.
That's
Bubbles, and I'm gonna
elaborate.
tell y'all like
Yes,
this.
ma'am. It's
Lord, that
I
is not.
haven't been listen.
I've seen this trick pulled on street corners in the French Quarter my entire life. Trust me,
I
this is not an
But I'm
elaborate
gonna
setup,
tell you
y'all.
like this, Dottie, y'all had me salivating at the mouth. I was like, man,
That's what I
fuck, this
mean.
is some pure genius soap
It
writing
sure
right here.
is.
But you know what? Like Sam just said,
This is
Brad
Brad
Bell ain't. He
Bell.
is not a genius. He is not
He's
finna
not
give
going
us
to be
that.
that elaborate. He
He's
won't. This
not.
second person to come in for me now. It's going to be one or the other. We all leaning towards it was so to me the second person for me sells it that it probably was legitimately CPS.
Yes.
That would sell it for me because I can't see Thomas pulling off Brad Bell pulling off Thomas to do this kind of stunt. Well,
Yes.
he knew that he had to bring in a third person to sell it. Brad Bell is too basic
That's
for
too
that.
much.
It's
Lazy
not.
writing. Thank you.
Correct. That's too elaborate. So now, with that being said, these probably was legitimate CPS people. Now I'm right back to because that's too good to be true. That it's either Thomas made the call and he's
It's very
masterminding the
good.
whole genius, or it's go back to Douglas and Douglas is not being a bad seed. Douglas just overheard that conversation between his grandma that he loves and his
Yeah,
dad that he loves, and
that's
he
right.
wanted to fix the situation because Douglas always been the smartest in the room by calling
Yes,
CPS so that all the adults can see. No, not all the adults, just so Grandma Brooke can see. Because Mom Hope is cool and everybody, all the Foresters is cool.
that's
It's
cool.
just
Even
Grandma
A
Brooke
Donna
that's not
cool.
cool. And that's why the name Brooke Logan was used. Douglas is not trying to be destructive and set nobody up. This boy is trying to solve the problem. Like, well, if Grandma Brooke see that everybody is cool, she'll stop yelling at my dad.
But you see, and you know what? I buy that theory, Sam. I buy yours more because Darling and Bubbles is too juicy. It's too soapy delicious for bold. So it's too elaborate. It's good though. It's good writing, but not for bold. That story couldn't tie in for Bold's writers. Not for Brad Bell. They have lazy writers over there. We're not gonna get it that good. Now, Sam's theory makes more sense with Douglas not being a little villain kid, even though I still want him to go through there and set the cabin on fire. But we'll wait. We may have to get there. But I feel like it could be possible that Douglas was just being the sweet, innocent kid here and did that call, used his voice app, recorded Brooke because he heard Brooke spewing fire at his dad that day. He heard the whole conversation. Thomas told him, go upstairs, meet Aunt Donna. And he went into the top of them stairs and stayed there and listened because that's what Douglas do, right? Douglas was walking out of the cabin at after midnight because they had been brought in Brooke and Deacon had been brought into New Year's. He went snug down there to get his teddy bear and watch. But this is where your theory comes to a halt for me because Sam, because that's that same Douglas that He went and told his dad. Thomas was like, "What's the matter with you, son? I don't feel good. Why? Because I saw grandma kissing Santa Claus, and they made me feel bad because what they had did, they had gaslighted Douglas. Brooke told
Mm-hmm.
him, they made him, forget it never happened. It didn't really happen. No one, they brainwashed that kid, and he didn't feel good about it. So this is the Douglas, but this is the good. So that's why I'm like, I like your theory, Sam, but then I got to go back to, this is not Douglas' character, because Douglas' character would be to tell his dad, and Thomas got it out of him because he can trust his dad. And he sat up there and he told his dad, they didn't make me feel good. I don't feel good because I know what I saw, Dad, but
But
they
Lady
told me I
Tish,
didn't see it. And then wait a minute though. This was the same Douglas though, when he heard his dad, when he heard them grown folk talking, Thomas talking and threatening everybody about keeping little baby Benjamin Beth a secret, he told, I heard my daddy. I don't want to get my daddy in trouble, but Beth is alive. And that's Beth right there. Phoebe, that's Beth. But this is the same little Douglas though, when his dad was, yelling at him, the child abuse. They said he was committing child abuse when he was yelling at Douglas. And I think one time he grabbed him by his shoulders and shook him a little bit and was like, why did you tell on me? You know, and he went and told and said, Daddy made my stomach hurt because he yelled at me. This is the same Douglas. That's why I feel like, would this Douglas, instead of telling somebody like you normally do, make the call to CPS and pretend to be Brooke? Although it is clever, it's clever as hell, Sam. But that's where I get conflicted at, because I'm like,
I'm gonna put it to you like this. I think we about what 50-50 on this. As likely as
yeah,
it is that Douglas is the one who then arranged all this and called CPS, it's
yeah,
just as likely that Thomas is playing a confidence trick
too
on Ridge
elaborate,
to
right?
get
Too
rid to get.
elaborate. They
But
both too
see,
elaborate for
yeah,
me. That's right.
because here's the thing: the guy Walter, he's a real person. Ridge did not question anything about this person, and
A
that's how
real person,
confidence,
but did a fake
yeah,
thing.
that's how a confidence trick works. You get a shield. You get somebody who makes you believe the information that you're getting.
Oh, I get
Thomas,
the
yeah,
con. I get the
right.
con, but I do feel like, just like I feel like it is too elaborate for Bradley Bell to pull off, just like the Douglas story. It's just too much. Both of those
And it's
stories, they
possible. I can see that. It's just for me, for Thomas to call CPS and just hope that all the chips
hope and
fell
pray
right is
that it
just
don't go
weird.
nowhere.
Like
Right.
there had to be some sort of a guarantee or an insurance policy in there for him.
So
It
let me
couldn't
tell you
be
this though, darling. Let me tell you
if he
this
did it
though.
anyway.
If it's, but why can't it be Brooke? Because this is what I thought about just before we came to the space. When I was watching, when I put it on, because I was trying to watch it before we came to the space, because you always see something that you miss the first time around. You know what I thought about? When Brooke sat up there, when Ridge was questioning her, and she just rolled her eyes like she wanted to, he couldn't see her, but we looking at her like, yeah, I called, and what? Rolling her eyes. And then as she sat down, it looked like she was contemplating. Like, this shit didn't go like I planned it. Ridge wasn't supposed to be there. And he was just, so when it came out, when CPS got, I was gonna be able to, get over here and make Ridge believe that when it comes out that I did the right thing, but it didn't play like that. Now, instead of Brooke going all, when Liam walked through the door, Rich has accused me. That's what Brooke would have done. That's what a person who was really innocent, when you just didn't accuse them of something that bad, they would be trying to defend their honor. And she did not do that. She sat there on that couch and she looked defeated, and she lied straight to her teeth on the phone. Now let's go back to 2019, that October, during this time, same time, 3 years ago, when Hope ran her little ass up there in her little cowgirl outfit, right? Trying to seduce Thomas so he can sign those papers. Shauna was standing over near the under Quinn's picture. Ridge was on the phone calling Brooke, and what did he ask her? Did you have anything to do with Hope coming over here? What is she coming over here to do to my son? Is she coming over here to try to scheme or run some type of game on him? What did Brooke say? Brooke sat there on her phone in her house with Donna sitting next to her and lied through her goddamn teeth. No, I don't know what you're talking about, Rich. And she looked at Donna. Is Brooke Hope? Hope going over there? I thought Hope was down there in the cabin with Liam. I have no idea what you're talking about. That lie she told Ridge never came out, did it? And she sat there and lied through her teeth. It's the same thing. Why can't Brooke just be lying?
She could
Why
be.
does it have to be any one of these elaborate schemes? Because I think if I had to go with the two possibilities of both of these, with Sam theory and your theory with Bubbles, they're both elaborate, but I probably would have to lean more towards Douglas, towards Sam's theory. But why can't it just be Brooke lying through her freaking teeth all over again, like 2019? She just lied. Because why? 'Cause if she was innocent, why was she just sitting there on that couch contemplating? And when Liam asked her what was going on, the first thing she said, before she said anything about CPS, she just said, well, me and Ridge, our marriage has kind of been on the rocks. And, this thing with Thomas, I just wanted everybody to know the danger of Thomas. She didn't say any, her first reaction should have been, I, he's a kid. She should have been running, pacing through her house. I'm getting on the phone, calling Hope. So that goes to my second thing. Another thing, she's trying to keep that shit from Hope too. That would be another reason for her to lie. She knows Ridge would work. She knows they destiny and they can get through anything. But if it was a failed CPS call, now she got to explain this shit to Hope too. Brooke has every reason to lie, ladies. Why not
She
go with
does.
that theory?
Okay, but
She
y'all listen,
she
y'all
does.
need to check out SB Rider over there in the YouTube universe. I'm right there with her.
No, no, I've been reading her.
What'd she say, Sam? I don't have my glasses on. I don't know where I put them.
If Thomas calls CPS on himself, the insurance plan is the voice app. It makes it appear that Brooke made the call. Thomas will get the blame no matter what. Bridge breaks up. Brim 6. Voice app repeal. Bridge reunite for the billionth time. Lope and Brooke will use this as an excuse to take Douglas from Tom. I feel that.
Mm-hmm.
And I still think that they're going to put it on Thomas anyway. Elaborate scheme or not, even if he just made the call to real CPS and it was real CPS that showed up, I feel like that's how it's going to go down. Um, I just feel like that's how they're going to do it because they always make Thomas the bad guy.
Exactly. And how I just talked about all of this being too elaborate for Belle, to be completely honest, all of this question and debate whether Brooke did or didn't make the call, I think that deep down we all know Brooke didn't make the call and that it was just Thomas, and it's just exactly what SB Writer said. It's another throw under the bus job. You know how? Because we had already talked about it. We already talked about what we're gonna be talking about when it all happens. So we don't. I'm not. So what I'm saying about what I'm not saying anybody's. I think that all of us could possibly be being too elaborate in Bill's universe.
Potentially. I mean,
But
I
all
just don't.
theories are credible, though. I do feel
Yeah,
like each one
That's
of our
true.
exactly.
theories are very valid. It's
Yes.
just which one are they planning to go with?
Well, I think
My
that
thing with
I
Brooke
think
is that
we're more creative than the head writers. I think that they would
It,
never pick up. I don't think
hey,
they have.
amen
They
to
can't.
that.
They don't have the talent to come up with what we can
Amen
come
to
up with.
that. Yeah.
right.
That's why I feel
I mean,
like
and I feel
that revisit of 2019 with Brooke just basically lying, because Can been she has been, yeah, guys. I mean, Can has been on point. Can has been talking about this reset. Now, we all agreed earlier at the start of at the beginning of the yard, we all agreed earlier that Tridge is getting ready to happen. No matter what happens, they've been, giving us crumbs, everything that Taylor said today about the scavenger hunt, the St. Thomas deal, and her crying, her wanting to take herself out the picture. We all feel like, even all the crumbs before then, Steffi has been saying Brooke's time is up. Yesterday's conversation with Taylor said Brooke is taking a match to her own marriage. I have
Mhm.
nothing to do with that. It doesn't even matter. I stay or go. Brooke is doing a good enough job herself of taking a match to her own freaking marriage. So if we believe that Belle, and I'm gonna go with Can's theory, she feels like this is the reset. Tridge is getting ready to happen, going to be laid in stone. He is not going to bring us up. And I believe, Sam, you described it as that Big Boss tweeted earlier today where he used that Price is Right, that yodely, they just keep going up and up the mountain. And
Yes.
then if you say the wrong number or the wrong price, it falls and blows. As you stated, Sam, though, you feel like that Yola is gonna keep going up. It is not gonna fall. So if we're gonna hang on to that spoiler, if we're gonna hang on to that theory, then it doesn't make sense for Thomas to be the one caught with his hands in the cookie jar here, because then that Yoda will fall. Then Sam, then it's not going to be
But
set in stone.
the whole problem is this: is that Belle is going to build some sort of a flaw in the Tridge reunion,
The linchpin.
so that
If
Ridge
it's
can
a
waffle down
reset,
the
not if
line.
it's a reset, not if it's a reset, darling. If it's a reset, then it's not going to be flawed.
If it's a
Bridge, like
reset,
Taylor
it's going
said
to be the
yesterday,
new gondola. If it's a
if it's a,
reset, it's going to be what Brooke uses as the excuse to continue to fuel this triangle.
which will be what?
Whoever, I didn't make the call, Ridge. You only did this because you thought I made that call at CPS. It's the new
I mean,
gondola.
yeah, and now we all know perfectly well there are 1,000 reasons for Bridge to be torched in flames, and they have nothing to do with this damn call. That relationship is on life support already and has been for quite a long time.
But you
But
know
The
what's
fact
fixing to
that
happen though. She's right. This is fixing to be gondola. We were robbed. We were happy.
mhm,
We our marriage wouldn't have never ended if it hadn't have been for Thomas making that
so they
call.
can hang it all on Thomas's neck
Yep.
and
And maybe
say,
and even
feel
if
guilty about being married to Taylor, and she's gonna sit there and hound them in their new relationship
like
endlessly.
she did in the beginning, that's the reset back to the beginning where Brooke is the interloper and this is her new gondola. We were robbed.
Yep.
Yes, okay. I see it. That's right. If the reset, that's right. The reset would make Tridge back the first family, and Brooke would become the interloper. But we cannot, it can't, then if that's what we're gonna do, then guys, then we can't go with the theory being Thomas. Then we gotta stick, it's gonna be Douglas then. So if this is the reset, if we're gonna get a gondola, then it can't be Thomas, it will be Douglas. That would make
That's what I
more
keep going
sense.
back and forwards to.
That would make
That's
more
why
sense, Sam.
because
Yes.
it's when there's polls, I'm always torn between Thomas and Douglas because we
Yes.
know that Bale is more 99% not to be having to be Brooke. So that's not even a question. I'm going back and forth between Thomas and Douglas.
It's
If
then
Bale
it's
stays true to
Douglas.
form and stays simplistic, it is Thomas. If he's giving us a twist, it is Douglas. It's not Brooke.
It's Douglas. That's gonna be the reset. That's gonna be the gondola. Because if he doesn't plan on bringing Bridge, because you said, it was Sam, it was your word. You said uh Bell promised it won't be no, he is not gonna do that shit again where he's breaking up Bridge behind some shit that Cheering done just to put them back together. So if he's breaking them up, then this is it. It is not going to be Thomas because we're not getting, if we get in the gondola, if this is the reset, if Brooke goes, we're going back to the beginning, Brooke goes back to true form, the interloper, then it's going to have to be Douglas. Because that way, when it comes out, Ridge will still be able to say, well, look, Ridge and Hope will be able to say this. Well, you know what? It'll be rough. It'll be a slap in the face like Douglas did this, but then it'll still be bad for Brooke because why did Douglas
What
feel
drove the
he
child
had
to
to
do
do
it?
this? And it's
Hmm.
still gonna fall back on Brooke because it was her ranting and raving against Thomas. And then I would be looking for a conversation between Hope, Douglas, for I'm looking for him to spill the beans between them two to say, Mama, Mommy Hope, or Grandpa. It was me because I was scared because I would want him to play the recording back when Brooke, with that Monday episode or that Tuesday episode, when Brooke marched her ass in Thomas' house with the whole knife situation, and he heard the way Brooke was talking to his dad. I would have wanted Douglas to record it all and say, and this is why, Mommy Hope, because she made me sad. She was yelling at my daddy. My daddy was defending himself. I'm happy here. My daddy would never hurt me. And I felt like I can prove to y'all, to everybody, or to Brooke that my daddy will not hurt me and I'm in a good place. Because CP, because you talk, what did Hope say in yesterday's episode?
The
I've
only
already
part.
alerted the schools to know what to do. So I've talked to Douglas. He knows what to do. The teachers are on alert.
Hmm.
So if Douglas is being mistreated by Thomas, Douglas knows what to do. So that goes back to Sam theory. Douglas knew to call. That's how he knew to call CPS because his mom has trained him well. Because you know, if your daddy go crazy again, this is what you do. Call CPS. That is why I called
But
CPS on grandma because she was hurting dad.
but that's the problem. The only problem with that entire theory is why did Douglas say he was Brooke?
Brooke Logan, so
Yeah.
he
Because
can
Brooke is the
because so
only one that. So that's what I wanted to say earlier. Y'all keep saying why Douglas won't say nothing. Why Douglas won't say nothing. Douglas has said something. Every time somebody asks him what you like, well, he says it. But still, Grandma Brooke is
don't
yelling at
listen.
his dad. That's why he said, Brooke Logan,
Yep,
he is
because
the
she's the
only
only
one
one got the
questioning
problem.
Thomas's ability. Douglas is trying to defuse the situation. Um, Douglas heard Brooke tell Thomas that it wasn't shit he can say. She
That's
was
right.
hell bent on believing anything Thomas said. If Douglas heard that, Douglas could very well pick up the phone and say, I am going to prove that my dad is a good dad, and there's nothing for Grandma Brooke to worry about. So
That's right.
Grandma Brooke don't have to be worried
That's
about
right.
me. I want
Thank
my
you,
Grandma
Sam.
Brooke and my dad to get along. I want us
Because
to
she's
go
the
bowling
only
together.
one. That's right. That's right. Sam, you hit it on the nail. That is the only way any one of these theories will make sense. The reset, the gondola, Brooke going back to being the interloper, trees staying together. Because if it's Thomas, darling, we're not gonna get a reset. If it's Thomas, because they're gonna make him crazy again, and this is a sure reason for him to lose Douglas.
So
But
with that,
that is not going to happen. I am 100% now more perceptive of Sam's theory, and that's it. It has to be, guys. That is the key to making
so
the
so
reset stick.
so
I don't know. One,
if
because I don't really feel that if this, okay, because here's the thing. We have two, I'm gonna put it like this. We have two improbable solutions to how who made that call. Douglas is on one side of it and Thomas is on the other pulling a confidence trick. If it's a confidence trick, nothing really happens to Thomas other than people get pissed at him. You know why? Because Those two people didn't really work for CPS because there's not really a CPS file that's open on him. No actual complaint was actually made against him. The guy, the shill who came in and gave this whole thing validity by playing the voicemail showing that it was Brooke who made the call, he's a shill. The both that
And
Thomas would get out of the situation is having Ridge and everybody else be pissed at him for pulling a scam in order to discredit Brooke's ass.
no,
So
and it'll make him look like no, and no, darling, because not only that, it'll also validate what Brooke has been saying, and it'll validate what
What
Liam has
Liam
been
has been
saying,
saying, and he loses Douglas.
and he
That's what I'm
loses
saying.
Douglas.
That's what I
Yes,
mean. So in the only so this is what I see. I hear Lady Sanchez holding on to, which I keep going back and forwards from, is that if this is the meant to be reset, where it is not going to be a trick or a manipulation like we all expecting, everything is going to fall into line like it was meant to be. Brooke has been a raging bitch Karen, just all on her own. If Douglas made the call in under goodwill, it absolved. There is no villain. If
that's
Douglas
no, not
right.
if
made
it's
the
Douglas.
call under
Not
goodwill,
no, not if it's Douglas. No, there is no
right?
villain in this
There's no
story.
villain, and that plays into the meant to be trope that that Taylor and Ridge was meant to be. Because
That's
who
right.
would be responsible? Nobody but Brooke
N-
for going over to Forrester Mansion
Thank
and
you.
shooing Thomas a new asshole within
Thank,
earshot of Douglas, and that
thank
would be the
you.
reason why her marriage is over because of
Thank
what she
you.
did.
Thank you. Nobody is the villain here, but Brooks still don't come out unscathed. Tridge gets us. They will remain mended, and Thomas won't be thrown under the bus. Looked at. I told you, because could you imagine Liam and Brooke? I told you he didn't change, and he'll come home. I supported you, Thomas. I stood by you,
The
Thomas.
fallout would
But
be too great.
it would be too great. And look at another thing though. Look, another thing. Let's go back to that look. How and Sam made it. Sam, nobody caught on to it, but Sam noticed this when we was in the yard last night. Sam was like, "Did anybody look at Douglas?"
I,
Everybody looked at Douglas when you did, Bubbles, you did. When the CPS knocked on the door, both Ridge and Thomas looked at Douglas, and Douglas got up and looked around, looked up like, oh shit. They didn't call me. I didn't fucked up. Douglas had this bewildered look on his face. And Bubbles, you said it. You was like, what was that look about? Sam, she said it. She was like, did anybody notice that? Because Sam, you came off mute and you said that. Did anybody catch that look on Douglas' face? What was that about? And you went back on mute. That was like those are key factors, y'all. Look at why did Douglas? Because he looked like he had been caught. He grabbed his hands in front of. He put his hands down in front of himself, and he kind of put his head down a little bit, like I'm sorry. You know when the kid did something wrong and they done got caught, and mom and daddy look at you like Ridge and Thomas turned around and looked at him when CPS was
Mm-hmm.
knocking at the door. He tilted his head like he was saying, I'm sorry. It was me. I did it. I'm so sorry. But we haven't got a chance to hear that. And then Bubbles was like, yeah, after then when they came back to the scene, they had Douglas sitting there playing chess, like trying to play it off, like when you done messed up, you a kid and you done did something wrong, and you just hoping and praying that mom and dad ain't figured it out yet. So you just trying to be your happy self in the corner, like, oh Lord, I hope they ain't watching me. So and then he was like, "Yes, yes, sir. I'm Douglas," and they started questioning him, and he was like, "Why wouldn't I be happy here? Like, why are you asking me?" He was just so enthusiastic to tell them, to tell his side of the story. Sam, that is gonna be the. I mean, I've listened to the whole entire conversations for the last 2 hours, and it took me till it's like a light bulb just went off in my head. It just that theory with Douglas, it makes more sense because it validates it validates Tridge, it validates the reset, it gives us the gondolas, and it resets us and make Brooke the interloper. It brings her back to the beginning. Y'all, can nobody see this but me and Sam?
I see it. I just don't agree with it, but we'll see.
Yeah,
I
because you
just
know
don't.
what?
I
I
don't
stand with her
agree
on
with it
that
because
because
we don't. I don't agree with it mainly for this purpose. Is that Douglas has always been shown to be a very candid child up to this point. So some of this, while I was first of all, I don't want it to be Thomas under any circumstances, okay? Because that's just Bell throwing his ass under the bus for the nth time, and we could all really do without going down there. But I'm sorry, I just don't see it. I don't see that they're going to make Douglas be this unforthcoming with both Thomas and Hope about something like this. So but like I said, it's gonna be settled one way or another. They're gonna reveal who really was responsible for this call. But just like y'all said, the whole thing with Thomas pulling a scam is too elaborate. The thing with Douglas is elaborate too. So we're basically on the same page. We're just on different sides of it.
Yeah.
reason why is because we all we have our desires and we want it's some things we want to happen, and then there's some things we know that are probably going to happen. That's where I am. I keep going back and forth on the two. If in the perfect world, I'm getting my reset where it was just meant to be, and Brooke is just gonna get her raging bitch karma because she's been a raging
Yeah.
bitch for too
I
long.
mean, left up
Now
to me, Brooke
that's
did
what I
it.
would like
That's
to
the
believe, but
simplest, easiest way to fix it. She did it. No ifs and buts about it.
what? Yeah, and even
But
if she, even
she
if, but
didn't
even
though.
if she didn't do it, even if it's Douglas did it, even Douglas did it, she still has a right to have a gondola moment
She
where
does.
she didn't do anything and Red
That's
made this
right.
decision.
That's right.
It still supports the meant to be, but because
That's
it
right.
still would be Brooke was the one responsible in raging at Douglas
And
raging at
Thomas.
Thomas to make Douglas even
Uh-huh.
want to make the call. So
Exactly.
that's why we say, it's not that I think we all agree with everybody saying.
That's right.
Mm.
It's just that it's what we want. What we want is versus what we want versus what we know is probably gonna happen, and that's what we keep bouncing in between.
But we know we leading up to Tridge. And Sam, and you between you and Can. Y'all have basically both been catching all the crumbs they've been giving us, all of Steffi's conversation, even Steffi's conversations with Hope. Uh so we've been catching all these breadcrumbs. Can she has been she has been aggressive, but she has been just forthcoming, and but she has been right, and she's making sense though. Tridge is this is we didn't get these last couple of scenes with Taylor, everything since for the whole everything that's been played up in the last 9 months that build. This was a build, guys. This is the reset moment. We will have trees. We are not, Brad is not planning on, like Sam said, Bell did an article, did a interview saying he is no longer, all of this, he came out with all of this after he brought Tanner back. He is no longer going to destroy bridge behind the children just to put them back together. So we know, this is why we know it makes more sense to be Douglas instead of Thomas, because if it's Thomas, it's not going to validate the reset. He's only going to validate Brooke and Liam theory. He will get drugged. He will still be seen as the evil Thomas that has not changed. He will lose Douglas, and and he'll be back with Brooke. And where does that leave Taylor in this? You know what I'm saying? It'll leave her over there just shattered. The whole Forrester family is shattered. It's not happening that way, guys. Even the spoilers are coming up. And darling, you just read the spoilers to us with you believe that they were talking about Eric and Donna start squabbling
Disagreeing.
about. That's right. Is you think they meant to say Eric instead of Thomas, because Thomas and Hope gonna be having a moment over there. So guys, this it will be, let's see how it happens, but I will put all my eggs in one basket. I will put all my money. I will put my last $2 on this being Douglas, because it won't leave a villain. It won't leave a villain, but it'll make it'll just everything will be just it'll solidify Tridge. And we're getting Tridge. We agreed on that, didn't we?
I
Oh
believe
yeah.
in Tridge. I just don't like. It's hard for me to put all of that on Douglas because, like somebody, I think it was Darwin who said Douglas has always been a upfront kid. He's never been a sneaky child.
He's been candid.
I said that too. Yeah.
But see, listen, guys, I'm not saying Douglas is going to be sneaky. Douglas has told everybody that has asked him where he wants to be. Hope even knows it. It's not that Douglas is being sneaky. Douglas has told everybody, and Brooke still ain't agreeing with it. He is only trying to prove to Grandma Brooke that he loves that he is okay.
That's right. In the
All right.
CPS call,
Well,
Thomas, in the CPS call, it said, Thomas has a knife, and because he
I
was
get it.
there.
You know
He
why?
was
You know
there
why?
with Brooke.
I get your point, darling. Because
okay.
Douglas, I get your point, darling, because Douglas would not say he's Brooke. That is indeed a lie. So
Yeah,
that
that's
scratches for me right now. See, this is what I mean. We keep going back and forwards. That point being made, Douglas is not a liar. He would not say that he was Brooke Logan and use a voice app. So it's Thomas.
It has to be.
But
that's why I'm like, that's what I mean. I could completely see Douglas being on the page of trying to, prove that his father is a good father, that he's happy, that he's safe at the Forrester mansion. But for him to use the voice app, calling up CPS to tell them his location, say that his father's unstable, that he has a knife, that Douglas Forrester is in danger, and that he's Brooke Logan, that's a lot to put on Douglas to say he's a candid child who doesn't lie about anything.
Well,
Thanks.
but no, but I said that too. But I said that too. This is Douglas. This is the one that told his dad that, hey, I seen grandma and kissing Santa Claus. This is the Douglas that told everybody that baby Benjamin Beth was
Mm-hmm.
still alive. This is the same Douglas that said my stomach hurt because daddy makes me sad when he yells at me. This is the same because I mean I just said that like an hour ago in the conversation. That's why I didn't want to, but and I was very clear. I was like, Sam, that's where I get conflicted at because your theory and going back to this Douglas, that's where I get conflicted because this is not the Douglas that we know. But Sam, your reasoning was justifiable though, because it's not about him being changing his character. It's not about him being a liar. It's just about getting them to see because he has proven to everybody else and he has told everybody else this is where he wants to be but except Brooke Logan. But Brooke Logan was the one who came into his home and was just like a
Mm-hmm.
raging bitch.
Yes,
You
she
see what
was.
I'm saying? She was a raging bitch, and if he listened to that conversation, then he heard all the venom that was coming out of Brooke's mouth. So it wasn't that he was lying. If his mom and dad taught him to call CPS when he is feeling scared, or if he feels something is wrong, it goes back to say what Hope. It's validating what Hope said yesterday. I trust Douglas. I trust my son to say if something is wrong or if he is in a situation, if somebody is hurting him, because I've taught him that. I've alerted the teachers. I've alerted this one. I've alerted that one. So it's not really a lie if you look at it that way, because it is. It's Brooke Logan that made him feel scared. And it's Brooke Logan that came in there spewing venom. And it's Brooke Logan that's the only one that don't trust or don't feel like he belongs with his dad. So if we take at least that in consideration, then it's not really a lie, y'all. It's still in Douglas' character. He's still not getting far from character.
All right. On that note, I think we all passed 9.
We
So
are
yeah,
sorry.
it's all right. You passionate about it? Go ahead. But I think we should probably wrap this up for the night since it's past 9 o'clock. And I know we don't have Bold Live tomorrow, right? It's not
We
back until next week.
right, yeah, they said no bowl live tomorrow. So what we doing tomorrow? We having drinks tomorrow night, Bubbles? Are we gonna do a space?
We'll probably do a space
I
because
think that's a good idea.
That'll be awesome.
yeah, unless
I want to do a space tonight. Can y'all join? I would like to open one up tonight.
girl, it's 9 o'clock. We just got through talking for 2 hours. What else?
I actually have a couple of things I have to go do now.
Oh, Christ. Well,
I
I'm
love
gonna open
to,
one a
but
little
it's not
bit
Friday
later.
yet.
If I'm gonna open one a little bit later, if y'all want to join, please join.
I'll
Okay.
see you on Twitter.
I'll keep
All right, Sam. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
All right,
ladies
y'all have a
and
good
gentlemen.
one.
for being here.
All right.
Thanks everybody out on YouTube.
Thank you guys. And remember, if you like the show, to like and share the link. Tell your friends about Drinks the Day After, Monday through Thursdays at 7. Thanks again and have a great night.